This is the All for Strings Theory Workbook 2 for violin, and today we're looking at page 8. This page focuses on note values and counting, and we're going to start out with this bar line exercise. We've done exercises like this in the past, but there are two new additions to this exercise. First of all, we have some eighth notes. So we've seen eighth notes in groups of 2 before, but a singular eighth note is a note that looks like this with a flag. This is worth 1/2 of a beat. And then we also have eighth rests, which are 1/2 of a beat of rest. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through here. This first line is in common time, or 4/4. So we'll want to have four beats in every measure. Beat 1, 2, 3 between this half a beat and this half a beat, and then 4. So there's the first line right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 with this half note, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll check that last measure just to make sure it has 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we'll go in and write the counting. This is beat 1, this is 2, and the eighth note is 3, the eighth rest is and then beat 4, that eighth rest is on beat 4, and then the eighth note is and. Remember, I like to draw my rests in parentheses to remind me that I'm not playing there. If your teacher has you do it a different way, you can write it however your teacher has asked you. Similar here, beat 1, we play, but we rest for the and. We rest for beat 2 here, 3, 4, and. Here's my half note. I write 1, and then I put the 2 in parentheses, something I like to do to remind myself I don't re-articulate on beat 2. This is just a 2-beat note. Here's beat 3, and then 4 with the and in parentheses. Beat 1 is in parentheses, this eighth note is and, 2, and then this eighth rest is in parentheses, and then 3, 4. Next, we rest on beat 1. We rest for the first half of beat 2, and 3, rest on the and, play on 4, and then our last measure here, 1, we rest on the and then 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this next line, this would be pretty easy to play if you were in an ensemble. You just rest the whole time, but we still need to write in the counting. And I will actually, instead of drawing parentheses for everything, I'll just do one big parenthesis here. Why don't you pause the video? This would be a good time to check what you know, see if you can do this independently, and we'll come back and see how you do. I'll go through right now and write in my counting and bar lines. All right, hopefully you got the same thing as me there on the second line. And then we're going to end with our third line, which is in 3/4. So now every measure is going to have 3 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, and we'll write in the counting. 1 and 2, 3 and 1 and 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3. Almost there. 1 and 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. All right. Let's move on to balance the scale. We need to write one note or rest, so there was more than one answer that we could write to balance each scale. So I have 2 eighth rests. These are each worth half a beat, so I can either draw a quarter rest or a quarter note. I'll keep with the rest theme and draw a quarter rest. Next, I have a total of 2 beats. This is 1 beat, and then these two together are equal to 2 beats. I'll draw a half note. That's a 2-beat note. Same deal here. This is half, 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 and half. 4 halves equal 2. I'll draw a half rest this time. Okay, moving on. 3 beats, and then these together will be a total of a total of 1 beat. So this is a total of 4 for the whole scale, side of the scale. I'll draw a whole note. Okay. This is worth 1 beat when you combine the 8th note and the 8th rest, and then 2 beats here. This is a 3 beats on this side of the scale, so I'll draw a dotted half note. These 4 8th rests combined equal 2 beats, so I'll draw a half note. 1, 2, 3 beats total. I'll draw a dotted half note. There's only so many combinations, so eventually you start to see the same types of things. So this is 2 beats. I'll draw a half rest. Okay, just got a few more here going down. Again, this is 2 beats. I'll draw a half note. This is a half rest, 2 beats, plus these two together equal 1, so I'll draw a dotted half note. 2 beats plus 1 beat plus 1 beat, that's 4 beats. Here's my whole note. And finally, this is a total of 2 beats, so I will draw a half note. And a little bit more musical math down here. We're filling in the blanks with just 1 note or rest to solve the problem, solve the equation. So half plus blank equals 1. That's going to be another half a beat note or rest. So I'll draw an 8th rest here. Half plus half is going to equal 1. I'll do a 1 beat rest, a quarter rest. Blank plus half will equal 1. Again, the answer is half. These are all variations on the same math problem, really. So I'll draw an 8th note. And a half a beat, an 8th note, an 8th note plus something is equal to a quarter note. Again, I need something that's worth half a beat. These are all 8th rests, so I'll draw the note in this column to mix it up a little bit. Okay, moving on, I have a half note, 2 beats, plus an 8th rest, so that's going to be 2.5, minus something is going to equal another half note, so I need something that's worth half a beat here. I'll do an 8th note. These 2 8th notes together will make 1 beat, and I need something in here that's going to add up to 3. That will be a 2 beat note. I'll draw a half note. 1 beat plus half, that's equal to 2. I'll draw a half rest, a 2 beat rest. Well, that's kind of crooked there. Okay, we're cruising. We're almost done here. Hopefully this is a nice review. These are note values that we've seen before. Let's see, I have an 8th note minus something plus 2 beats is equal to 2 beats. So these need to cancel each other out. I'll draw an 8th rest. Those are both worth half a beat. Half a beat minus half a beat, so these cancel each other out, plus a half a beat plus a half a beat. So I'm looking for something that's worth 1 beat. I'll draw a quarter note. 1 beat plus half, that's a total of 2, and we're looking for something that's going to equal 4 because that's a whole rest. So I need something that's 2 beats. I'll draw a half note. These are each worth half a beat. Add those together, that makes 1 minus 1, so now we're at 0, plus something is going to equal a whole note, 4 beats. I'll draw a whole rest, a 4 beat rest. And lastly, we have an 8th rest, half a beat, plus something, plus another 8th rest, plus an 8th note is equal to 2. These 3 together equal 1.5 beats. I need another half a beat to make this half note equal the value of this half note, so I will draw an 8th note. All right, so lots of 8th notes and 8th rests in this. Hopefully this is making sense to you. That's everything on page 8. Come back for the next video to see everything on page 9.